Hello, Namaskar, welcome you to the SAAR Analysis. I am Chaman Nayak and here's my take. Now, what happens when the world's fastest growing major economy becomes increasingly dependent on one sanctioned energy supplier? Because this is exactly what the latest numbers reveal. Well, Russia's share of India's crude oil import have climbed above 40%, reaching nearly 42.6% by value in May 2026, and it is highest level in almost 2 years. This is no longer just an energy story, it is becoming about geopolitics, strategic dependence, and the changing architecture of the global power. Here's what evidence speaks about, and the evidence is remarkably clear. Despite Western sanction on Moscow, Russia has consolidated its position as India's largest oil supplier. Well, according to India's official trade data, Russian crude now accounts for almost two-fifths of India's total oil import. Now, more importantly, the trade comes at a time when India is attempting to diversify supplies by reopening the import from the countries like Iran and Venezuela. Yet, the diversification has not reduced Russia's dominance. In fact, Russia's share has continued to rise. Even more notable, India's refineries are reportedly paying a premium for some Russian oil compared to average price of total crude basket. Now the question arises, why is this important? Because energy dependence was never just about oil, it shapes diplomacy, it influences strategic autonomy, and it determines how much leverage nations hold over one another. For India, the affordable energy remains essential for sustaining economic growth, controlling inflation, and supporting industrial expansion. And a country nearly import 85% of the crude cannot afford supply disruption. For Russia, India has become one of the most critical energy market after Europe that dramatically reduced the purchase. Now this creates a relationship built on mutual necessity. India secures the energy security, Russia secures the stable demand and the foreign revenue. But dependence carry a strategic cost. If one supplier begins accounting for nearly half of import, pricing power, negotiating leverage, and even the geopolitical flexibility inevitably become much more complicated. Now, this also sends an important signal for international community. Despite sanction and geopolitical polarization, national interests continue to outweigh ideological alignment. The global energy market is no longer divided into simple political blocks. It is increasingly divided, driven by the strategic fragmentation. Now, here's my take. India is not choosing Russia over West. India is choosing energy security over geopolitical binaries, and that distinction almost matter. Well, the real challenge is India is not buying Russian oil. The real challenge is ensuring that no single supplier become indispensable. Well, the strategic autonomy is strongest when dependence remains limited, and in geopolitics, diversification is not merely an economic strategy, it is a national insurance. Well, the story therefore is bigger than just oil. It is about how emerging powers navigate an increasingly fragmented world where the sanction, supply chains, and even strategic interests constantly collide. As Russia depends on energy footprints in India, one question will define the next decade. Can India preserve its strategic independence while relying on one nation for more than 40% of its energy import? We all know, because in the 21st century, energy is no longer just about fuel for economics, it is about fuel for geopolitical influence. That's all from today's analysis. I will be back with another episode. Till then, thank you for watching this.